Hello guys, bienvenue, welcome to video 14 in our YouTube channel. So in this video, I will tell you which exam you should choose between the TCF or the TEF. This will be based on your goals. There will be an exam that's ideal for you depending on your goals. So let's get into the video. Alright, now we are gonna go through like the differences between the TCF and the TEF, why this video is important, the formats of the different tests, the price, and everything. So by the end of the video, you will have clear idea of what exam you should choose. First of all, why is this video important? This video is important because this video matters because there are differences between the TCF and the TEF. And also, if you are in Canada or you are in France or you're using the TCF for studies or work, so this will make one of the tests better for you. So let's talk about the differences between the TCF and the TEF. The TCF means Test de connaissance du français. Basically, it translates to French Knowledge Test. It is organized by the France Education International, so it's an organization. And here the TEF, it means Test d'évaluation de français. Basically, French evaluation test. It is organized by the Chamber of Commerce in France. So you can see that they are both testing your level of French. So they are both accepted in many official purposes. So the difference is not huge, right? Also, there are many versions. For the TCF, there are versions of the TCF. There is the normal TCF and the TCF IRN. The TF also, you have different versions. You have the TF Canada, TF Quebec, and then the general versions. All right. For example, the versions will affect maybe the accent or the dialect, but it's not like a huge difference. All right. So the TCF is used mainly for immigration, university application, general language certification. The TEF is used for Canada immigration, French citizenship, and business and academic purposes. So if for academic purposes, the TEF is used most because it's in my opinion harder. It evaluates your ability to deduce meaning from a text, not just what's apparent or what's obvious. So it's harder in my opinion. That's why for academic purposes they ask for the TCF. It doesn't mean that the TEF will not be accepted. All right, now let's do a comparison between the structure of the TCF and the structure of the TEF. So in the listening section, the TCF has 39 questions and you have 35 minutes to respond, whereas in the TEF it's 40 minutes for 40 questions. So the TCF is shorter in duration, but you have more time to answer questions in the TEF, and it's almost the same number of questions, so 39 versus 40. In the listening section, it's the same basically. So 60 minutes, you have 39 questions. In the TCF, 60 minutes, you have 40 questions. Just one question more in the TEF. When it comes to writing, in the TCF, you have 3 writing tasks that you need to accomplish in 60 minutes. In the TEF, it's 2 writing tasks. When it comes to the speaking section, in the TCF, it's a role play. So you have multiple subjects, multiple topics. You have 12 minutes, it's just role play. So the examiner will say that I am, for example, your friend, or I'm this, I'm that, and you have to ask me questions or something like that. In the TEF, there are 2 tasks. So task 1 is going to be like a role play, and task 2 is going to be like a persuasion, like you have to convince someone, like your friend, to do an activity or something, someone else, you have to convince them to do something. So that's what you have in the TEF. The format when the TCF, it's basically mostly on paper, but also there is option for computer, whereas the TF, it's mostly computer based. So this also will impact the writing tasks. If you are someone who prefer to write pen and paper, this could affect your decision, or if you are someone who likes to type. Which structure you think is best suited for you? Here you can see that it's almost the same, but just like you have more time in the TEF. Okay, now the scoring system, so they both will give you like CFR level, so A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. So different session, like listening, they can give you like A1, you have listening B1, and then they do the average and they give you your ultimate level in French. So they both work that way. For TF Canada, you have another scoring system like CLB and NCLC. So these are language competency levels, but these are only relevant for people in Canada. Okay. Now, the validity and frequency, both tests are valid for two years. 2 years, like most language competency exams. The TCF is offered once a month, whereas the TEF is offered once a week, so it's more frequent. So if you're booking for the TEF, you can book it a week in advance, whereas if it's the TCF that you're booking for, you need to book it for a month in advance. Okay, now the cost, the TEF is more expensive. The TCF, as you can see, these are just average prices because the actual price will depend on the country and also on the specific center. So these are just averages, but you can see here that the TEF is on average 150 dollars, Canadian dollars, more expensive than the TCF. Okay, now let's talk pros and cons. The pros of the TCF, it's simpler format, less time, so shorter in duration. It's cheaper. If you need just like a general language certification, or you want to use this for academic purposes, then you probably want to choose the TCF. Okay, but whereas the TEF, the pros are it's more accepted for Canada. In Canada, it's easier, like I said. It's computer based. That means you will get your result fast. So if you are in a hurry, you need your something that will give you results very fast, then you probably want to go with the TCF. And also it's more frequent. There are more dates. Now let's talk about like specific goals and specific tests. So if you're gonna use this test for immigration purposes for Canada, then you should take the TEF Canada test, right? If you're same thing with Quebec immigration. If it's French citizenship, we can take the TEF or the TCF. This TCF IRN. So both of these will be valid. If you want, your goal is to study in France in a university, then you want to choose the TCF DAP. It will show your competencies better. If you're just general language proof, both of them will work. Just keep in mind that TCF is cheaper, shorter in duration, but the TEF is easier in my opinion based on the mock tests that I've done. Alright, let's recap what we've seen in this video. Both TCF and TEF are valid and official. You can use them for like they're interchangeable in all purposes, almost all purposes. The TEF is more common for Canadian immigration, and the TCF is good for academic and French-based goals. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.